Hello and welcome to the award-winning Eagle Insights podcast. That's right, we won an award. I'm your host, Henry Conti, the communications coordinator with Bellbrook-Sugarcreek Schools. On today's podcast, we have the first ever assistant principal of Stephen Bell Elementary, Heather Hebrank. Heather, a former softball coach at Bellbrook and a teacher for 17 years, sat with me and talked about her plans as the assistant principal, her history as a teacher, and what the challenges are facing education. We get into a whole bunch of really interesting topics, and of course, we have the flyby. All of that coming up right after the Eagle. Heather, thank you for joining us.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you.
Here in your classroom.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about how long have you been with the district? What brought you to our district?
Yeah. So this is my 7th year teaching here in Bellbrook. I started as a kindergarten teacher and then came to 2nd grade. I've been teaching for a total of 17 years. I've taught kindergarten through 3rd grade. I've taught every grade level. I was very fortunate to teach at the Little Miami School District for 10 years. We live in Bellbrook. My husband grew up in Bellbrook. And so that kind of led us back to Bellbrook and led him back to home. We just find such joy and comfort here. And so it was just really important for us to be within the district and be in our hometown. And so that's kind of what led me to, getting a job here and then just staying here because it's such an awesome district. We have such great people. That's kind of how I ended up here.
So you have a couple kids that are growing up in the district as well?
I do, yes. Abigail is in 8th grade this year, so hard to believe that we're almost at high school. And then I have Bentley, who's also a 5th grader here in the district, and will be in middle school next year. So
what's
exciting.
that been like? I mean, almost all of their schooling.
So actually she did start. That's why we moved to Bellbrook. We moved to Bellbrook initially so that Abigail could start kindergarten here. We wanted to be in the district, be in this great school district. And so we made sure that we moved here before Abigail started kindergarten so both of our kids could go their entire experience through the district.
I also married into Bellbrook.
Yes.
My wife is a 99 grad.
Yep,
so.
Same. My husband's a 99 grad, so.
Gotcha. So what made you want to go for the admin position now?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I've actually had my educational leadership master's degree since 2010. And when I came over to join Bellbrook Schools, I just fell in love with this building. This building is such a special place. Stephen Bell, wow, I really honestly can't begin to tell you how special a place Stephen Bell is. Having just the camaraderie and the people in this building are just amazing human beings. We work together so well. We are a true family. I mean, truly, when Ginger says we are a staff family, that's really how we carry ourselves and what it means. We really take care of people and do a great job here. So I didn't want to leave. I've had my admin license or, working towards that, and I've had my degree, but I just didn't want to go anywhere because this place was so amazing. And so I kind of waited, and then when this position kind of popped up, it was so attractive because this has been something that a leadership position has kind of been in the back of my mind for quite some time, obviously, but I didn't want to leave this amazing place. When this position came available, I knew it was definitely something that I wanted to go after, and just so excited that was even to be considered for such a great position as this and be so fortunate to be in this building. So I'm thrilled, and I'm just looking forward to this so very much so.
So you were approved by the board last Thursday.
Yes.
And what plans do you and Mrs. Keaton already have in place for going forward?
Oh my. Mrs. Keaton and I have been working together since January, looking at some behavior things and whatnot. I've currently been in my internship project through the University of Mount Union. So I've been working really closely with her through that internship process and just learning from her and growing from her. She's been an administrator for 17 years, just a wealth of knowledge, and cares about this building and the district so very much. For me, just kind of going forward and kind of being her right hand to see what she needs and how we can implement some things and what we can do to kind of make this building even more amazing than it already is. Something specifically we've been looking at are some behavior strategies and things of that nature to kind of help our building. But overall, just kind of looking ahead at kindergarten orientation next year and just some exciting new things that we can kind of bring to our building and just how I can continue to help her and help the students and the families in this building. So
behavior is such an interesting thing these days because we saw that big change.
Right.
You've seen it so much more than I have.
100%, yeah.
Since COVID especially. What, is there anything you can kind of lead me through at the moment?
Yeah.
Briefly, of course.
Yeah, of course. Something that I've tackled for my internship project is PBIS Tier 2, Tier 3, looking at that structure a little more. So PBIS is Positive Behavior Intervention Supports, and our building does such a fantastic job. We've already got the Golden Hopper. Mrs. Keaton does the SOAR assemblies. We've got the SOAR shop. We have so many great things, the golden tickets, all these awesome things already in place that are really valuable and working really well for our students. But looking at those students that might need a little extra behavior support, so providing some incentives, some rewards, some, behavior plans, things of that nature. So I've been looking at that through my internship project and using those strategies and kind of how we can develop that and use that maybe more building wide as we go forward.
Gotcha. So you mentioned the SOAR assemblies. Do you think you can match Mrs. Keaton's enthusiasm when it comes to the SOAR assemblies?
Well, I mean, that's kind of a hard act to follow. I'm not going to lie. She's got multiple tricks up her sleeve. So I will do my best, but I can't promise anything.
How excited were you when you found out, obviously, to give a spoiler, my office is right across from the room which everybody was interviewing.
Yes.
And I saw lots of faces walking by because I'm super nosy.
Yes.
So I saw that you were interviewing and noticed that it was just later that day that it was announced.
Yeah.
How exciting was that for you? Obviously, it was probably not a super long conversation when they said, Heather, we'd like to offer you the job.
Yes, I honestly am humbled, truly. I'm humbled that the people and the leadership in our district trust me in this position. It's definitely been something that I have, like I said, wanted for quite some time. So to have the opportunity and be humbled to have the experience and the option to even pursue this is such a humbling experience. I know the other candidates were fully qualified and super capable people. So again, that I was trusted with this responsibility is a huge opportunity, and I'm very humbled by it and very excited as I kind of move forward. I do think, knowing this building and knowing the people in this building, I'm just so excited to continue working with them and have the opportunity to, like I said, just make this building even better than it already is, which is just a really cool experience. So I'm really excited to go forward in this capacity and then obviously be the very first assistant principal in our building. Mrs. Keaton's been doing this on her own for so long. Just have the opportunity to help support the students and the staff and the families in the building it's quite exciting.
So as the first assistant principal in the history of Stephen Bell, we talked a little bit about some of the behavior things, but what are your plans going forward for Stephen Bell? What do you think you can uniquely bring to this position?
I definitely see myself as a servant leader. I definitely see myself as a relational type of leader. I think that I'm not shy of just hopping in anywhere that's needed. I think obviously I make good connections with kids, and that's always been a priority to me. I think when you make a connection with a child, then they build that relationship and that rapport with you, and then those harder situations become easier. So I do think that if I have a strength, that would be something that I would definitely say is a strength of mine, to build positive relationships with kiddos and families. And I do think I bring that unique perspective in the sense of I've done it for 17 years, and I've experienced multiple kids throughout my time that, do need that extra support. And then obviously knowing the staff in the building, and I think they know that they can come to me and, I'll support them and I'll support Mrs. Keaton in any way possible. So just knowing again that I'm available, and those relationships are so important, and I'm not beyond doing the trash if it's needed or sweeping the floors if it's needed or whatever. So just being that servant leader, and I think anytime you ask someone to do something, you have to be willing to do it yourself, and that's been modeled in our building. Everyone just kind of pitches in. It's that model of everybody's hands are dirty and everyone's working together. So I think having that perspective and being able to build positive relationships with the students is important.
Gotcha. What is the biggest issue facing education in your perspective, both as a district, as in the state, in the country, whatever it might be, however you want to answer it?
Yeah.
What do you think is the biggest issue facing education right now?
So I think obviously underfunded mandates are a huge piece of that, and I think that would be stated probably anywhere you go. And then I think that transition of behaviors has been difficult as districts are seeing more and more amplified behaviors, not necessarily new, but just more and amplified behaviors. So really looking at how do we professionally developed teachers? How do we become, not, I don't want to say tolerant, but how do we build our tolerance and look at professionally what the things that we need to do to be supportive of students who have, specific behavior concerns or needs? I think that's important, and just knowing that we need to do a better job of that globally. I'm saying not necessarily our district, but just looking at how do we support students with the behaviors that we are seeing, and what kind of professional development, what kind of things can we do to kind of help and support those behaviors. So that's kind of why I've been working on that Tier 2 system and looking at how can we do a better job of supporting students who might have amplified behaviors. I think globally that's probably what I would say, just from reading all the articles and podcasts and all that. You hear that's a big thing that you hear kind of consistently.
You're involved in a lot in the district. You coached softball, you're
Yeah.
on the district implementation team. Tell me a little bit about those things, but also what else are you involved with inside the district?
Yeah, so I'm very fortunate to be the co-assistant athletic director, so I get to be super involved in athletics, and I have such a heart for sports. I actually had to give up my varsity coaching position this school year, which was probably one of the most difficult decisions I think I've ever made, because I love the sport so much, and the girls are amazing and such wonderful families. So that was a really difficult decision for me. I just didn't want to leave sports because sports are such a passion of mine. So Charlie was so gracious to offer me the chance to just be involved in athletics. Just doing some behind the scenes work, working with Jeff, and just kind of helping in that capacity has been super fulfilling, because, walking away because of my children and all of their involvement in the spring. We've got basketball and softball and baseball and all these things going
Spring
on.
is so hard.
It is super busy. So having the opportunity to still be involved in sports is truly a blessing. And so I'm doing that. I'm also on our ELA committee. So there's been a lot of ELA changes throughout the state and still coming. But I've gotten the opportunity to be a part of that curriculum and kind of helping with that in our building, which has been great. I've been part of the science committee. I've been part of the interview panel. I mean, just a lot of different responsibilities. I've had the awesome opportunity to be a part of our BLT team, PBIS team now during my internships. So I've gotten a chance to be a part of all of those experiences as well. So that's been exciting to be a part of and kind of become more knowledgeable about. So.
Okay, so we will start with, what is your favorite food?
Favorite food? Probably watermelon. I love watermelon. Okay. And I love a good salad. So Brassi is my favorite restaurant, by far.
By far the healthiest person that you've given me for favorite food?
Watermelon is yes, that's the top.
What is your favorite drink?
Favorite drink? My students, they whoever has had me in the past, they will tell you that I drink coffee, and that's my jam. So black coffee, Starbucks black coffee is by far my favorite drink. Yes.
Very simple. Do you go with the dark roast, or is it Pike's Place?
Pike's Place is actually, the holiday blend is my favorite. Okay. So we have to really stock up on that during, around Christmas time. We really, put like 18 of them back. Yeah, I just ran out actually, so it's quite sad when that happens.
I like the winter blend that you can get at Costco.
Yes, it is pretty delicious. Yes, but Pike is my second. Okay. Holiday blend first for sure.
Gotcha. Okay. Favorite movie or TV show?
Ooh.
What's the go-to? What are we watching now that we really like? Let's see.
I don't really watch a lot of movies. Okay. I don't really watch a lot of television. I don't really have a lot of time for that. I like The Amazing Race. That's a good one. But I'm not really I'm not a big TV movie watcher, honestly.
And what is the go-to emoji when you're texting?
Ooh, hearts and sports, probably.
Okay.
Yeah, hearts and sports. I would say that's probably the two that I use the most.
All right. And final question.
Okay.
If you could go back and talk to yourself at the beginning of your career, whether it's here or at Little Miami, just starting teaching, what would you tell yourself, and would you listen?
I would probably tell myself that you are a change maker. It's been so neat to be on this end of things after, doing it for 17 years. I can't believe that I've been doing it for 17 years, because it doesn't feel like I've been doing it for 17 years, because I still love it so much, which I will say was kind of part of a hard part of becoming an admin, was leaving the classroom, because I love teaching, and that's who I am through and through. I don't think I've ever well, there was a hot minute I wanted to be Paula Abdul, but when I realized that was probably out of the question, I decided that teaching was it for me. And so it's going to be really hard to leave the classroom because I love it so, so much. I've had the amazing opportunity over these 17 years to have students that have graduated and they come back to me, and I actually just got a message the other day from one of my former students who's graduating, and she said her mom asked her if there was one part of your school career that you could go back to, what would it be? And she said it would be to go back to Mrs. Hebrank's class because she was the best teacher I've ever had, and she really loved me and cared about me. So for me, like that's why we do what we do, is so these kids, when they graduate or when they're adults or when they're having a hard time in life, they know that you're there for them. They know that you can come back to them, or that they can come back to you, and that you were a person that mattered in their life, and you were a person that stood out to them. I had another student who was really struggling in school, and at graduation I saw him and he ran up and gave me a big hug, and he said, the only reason I'm becoming a doctor is because of you, because you believed in me. And I just thought, wow, like, in the moment you don't realize the impact you make. You don't realize that, like, the things that you do day in and day out, they matter. The hugs that you give, the encouragement that you give, the words that you say along the way, that they truly do have an impact. And you don't realize that when you're starting. You just think you're just doing your job, and so yes, you're just doing your job, but the work that you do matters so much. And I think I would have probably listened. I feel like I'm pretty reflective in that sense, but I definitely think, looking back, it's truly amazing to see that, the things that you do that you just don't even think about, that how much they do matter. So I think that's an important thing to just keep in the back of our heads and remind us every single day that there are going to be hard days and there are going to be days that it's difficult, but along the way, the work that you do matters so much.
Heather, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you so much for coming to my room and joining me. I appreciate it.
Heather is wonderful, isn't she? I have no doubt she'll be amazing in her new position. And now for this episode's Ego Droppings. That's the upcoming schedule for the end of the year, and folks, buckle up because we are in crunch time. On May 1st, the BCI choir sings God Bless America at the Dragons game. The spring high school musical, The Little Mermaid, runs May 2 through 4. May 6th is the spring band concert. May 7th, we have 3 big events: the National Junior Honor Society induction, the high school band concert, and the college signing ceremony. So I will be a busy Eagle that night. On May 8th, we have a spring choir concert, and May 9th is the Stephen Bell Fun Run and a Board of Education meeting in the evening. The next 2 weeks are even busier after that, so check your calendar and get ready to celebrate the end of the year with us. We hope you've enjoyed this edition of the Eagle Insights podcast, and as always, have a good day. And if it can't be a good day, make it a great one.